Nancy Pelosi, welcome to ConflictZone.
ConflictZone.
When you look at all the various conflicts that are in progress around at the moment and their capacity, their potential to spread, are we reaching a new and dangerous inflection point?
Well, we have, but I think everything is an opportunity. I do think that people are starting to think, what is this about war? We cannot have innocent people, children, families, being victims of war when they're not even combatants in it. So we have to find another way to resolve conflict, and because this is just uncivilized and brutal.
Well, let's talk about that area where innocents are being killed in Gaza. Israel has been preparing its forces to fight in the southern city of Rafah on the border with Egypt, where more than 1 million Palestinians have sought refuge from the war. Last week, the White House said it wouldn't support a military operation there and warned of a disaster if it went ahead. What should the U.S. do if Israel ignores that warning?
Well, I hope that there's some other place that Israel can go in terms of being careful about civilian life. They have made it clear that they want to rid Gaza of Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization. They committed an act of brutality, barbaric assault on Israel on October 7th. And following that, we see many children, families, grandmas suffering from the consequences of their barbaric action. So when you say they want to go into the city, and now that city, I understand, has 3 to 5 times more people than it would normally have because there are so many refugees there. And we're saying we don't support that. Well, we haven't supported any of their aggression. We recognize Israel's right to protect itself, defend its borders and the rest. But I would hope that they would hear the call of Secretary Blinken and, of course, President Joe Biden. All of us are friends of Israel, and be careful about the civilians.
The White House has escalated its rhetoric pretty sharply last week. Mr. Biden said Israel's conduct of the war was over the top. There are a lot of innocent people who are starving. He said there are a lot of innocent people who are in trouble and dying, and it's got to stop. Can Mr. Biden make it stop?
Well, we have I don't want to call him Mr. because I've lost so much respect for him, Netanyahu there, who seems to be...
You've lost respect for him?
A long time ago. But nonetheless, he seems to be calling the shots, and he and his very extreme right wing, I wouldn't even say conservative, because that's a legitimate place to be in the world of thinking on the spectrum, but right-wing, radical right-wing cabinet. So I would hope that hearing from a friend of Israel, as Joe Biden has always been, and all of us have been, that he would respect the lives of the people who are innocent, collateral damage in this war.
But there are levers that Biden could use, which he hasn't used. There are levers which previous presidents have used when Israel has, in their view, crossed the line.
For example?
Go back to 1956. Eisenhower threatened sanctions if Israel didn't pull its forces out of Sinai. Reagan, held up delivery of fighter jets over Israel's action in 11. George Bush Sr. blocked loan guarantees because of settlement building.
He did. I was there the day that well, you're going back to 56. I mean,
so these levers are there, aren't they?
Well, there's some, but the president has said something about the settlements. He has said something about the settlements.
But staying and blocking weapons supplies, for instance, are very different things, aren't they?
Well, it's not. It's a path. It's a path. Look, this is terrible. I mean, nobody wants to, in any way, minimize what happened on October 6th. This was barbaric. It was horrible. And consequence of hostage-taking, rape, murder, kidnapping, attacking young people at a music festival. How bad could it get? And almost to the point of inviting inviting a reaction. Now, none of us has any sympathy for what Israel has done to the children and innocent people in this war. We have total sympathy for them, but we want the hostages released. We want Hamas addressed. I mean, if in fact they think that they can just prevail in Gaza and continue to be a threat to Israel, that is not an answer either. So it's a funny thing about war. People think if they start a hostility, they're going to end an injustice, but it usually just adds to further hostilities.